Hey folks, I'm going to lead you through the process of installing Xynthi on either Windows or Mac machines. This is for people who have little to no experience using Supercollider, installing extensions and that sort of thing. It's the streamlined method and really shouldn't be too hard, so if you just follow carefully, you should have no problem. So what we're looking at here is the GitHub link for Xynthi. This is in the description. And if you use Git, you know what to do. You can do the Git thing. Everything's good. But if you don't use Git and you don't want to, you can go ahead and click on this green code button and select Download Zip. Do that. It will download. There it is. If we take a look at it in the folder, either your operating system will unzip it automatically or it will still be zipped. So in my case, it is still zipped. So you need to extract it. And there we are extracting. Okay, and now we have a folder called Xynthi main. You can put this wherever you want, but make sure that you move everything within it together. So for instance, if I look at all these files here, I don't want to move these out of this folder. They need to stay together. So here I have Xynthi main. I could put it in my documents folder. Let's just go ahead and do that. Now we're going to need Supercollider to run this. So let's go back to that GitHub page. Scroll down and you'll see there's a README. It tells you all about how to install this. It's just repeating stuff we're going to go through here. But first thing it says is that it needs to be run in Supercollider. Supercollider is just a normal app. You can go ahead and click on that link. You'll see there are a couple versions that you could download. Here we got Mac, Linux, Windows, etc. If you're on Mac, choose the correct version, Universal Binary for Mac OS 11 Plus, or the Legacy. Same with Windows. Looks like there's only a 64-bit version for the newest, but if you have a 32-bit machine, you can download one of the older releases and you should be fine. So go ahead and download the appropriate release for your system and install in the normal way. Note that if you're on a Mac, when you go to install Supercollider, it will open a window that shows a Supercollider icon with an arrow pointing to your applications folder. It's just telling you to go ahead and drag that into the applications folder, and once you do that, Supercollider will be in your applications folder. So then you can open Supercollider. And from Supercollider, you want to open this file init.scd that's in that Xynthi main package. At the top, there's some notes on how to run the code here. So what you do is you take this set of code that starts at the parentheses here. And if you scroll down, you'll see that there is another parentheses at the bottom here. This is called a block of code. It's basically a bunch of different lines of code that are encapsulated between two parentheses. And in Supercollider, if you want to run that block of code, just put your cursor anywhere in that block of code. It doesn't matter. Just don't select any text or anything. Just put the cursor there. And if you're on Windows, hit Control Enter. And if you're on Mac, hit Command Return. So I'm going to do that now. I'm on Windows, and you'll see in this window over here, some information will pour out. And at the end, it says installation successful. Quit then restart Supercollider, open blaze synthi.scd, and execute the code to start Xynthi. So that's Windows. If you're on Mac, there's going to be an extra step. Now, even though I'm on Windows, I can show you what that's going to be like. So let's pretend I'm on a Mac and I run the same thing. So it says that the plugins were installed successfully, but you will need to unquarantine some by opening Applications Utilities Terminal and running these two lines. So find the terminal in your Applications/Utilities folder. Open that up, and these are the two lines. This one here, and I know that that goes over two lines, but that's just because the text wraps around there. But this is line number 1, and it might look a little different for you because it's going to have a different path. Take that and copy it, paste it in the terminal, and hit enter. Then come back here, copy this second one, paste that in the terminal, and hit enter. If everything goes okay, then you should be able to quit and restart Supercollider, open play Xynthi.scd, execute the code, and start using Xynthi. All right. So let's start using Xynthi. Here's play Xynthi. Open that up. And it's pretty simple. There's a block of code. Notice there's just 2 lines here, but they are encapsulated between these parentheses. And so we execute that the same way we executed the code in the init file. So I put my cursor anywhere here. I don't select any text. And on PC, I hit Control Enter. On Mac, I'll hit Command Return. A bunch of stuff is going to spit out here the first time because the Supercollider server needs to boot. That could take some time depending on your system. It may be checking for any sort of viruses, that sort of thing in that process. So be patient and wait until you see this set of text come out that ends in ready to go. That's Xynthi getting itself started, and now it says it's ready to go. And in fact, it's already running. And you can tell this because here in the server window, we see that it's using some amount of CPU, and this 33S means that 33 different synths are running. So that's cool, but you probably want to use an interface. So go back to the code here. Here's that line Xynthi.makeGUI. You can put your cursor anywhere on this line and hit Shift Enter on Windows or Shift Return on Mac. And it should open a window, and the window should come to the front. You should see it right away, but nothing's perfect in our technical ecosystem now. And on my system, it actually opened in the background. If I look down at my dock, there's a gray cube. And if I click on that gray cube, there it is. So here's Xynthi. There's a default preset that's loaded. If you hit the gate button here on the envelope, some sound will come out and you can load presets. Click on L. Make sure you find the right folder for it. So wherever you put Xynthi, there is a presets folder. And you should see presets like this. Load any one of these, they're all pretty wild, and experiment a bit. The README file tells you a bit about how to use Xynthi, and in the near future on this channel, I'll have a video that goes over everything step by step so that you can really get deep. For now, I want to end the video just talking about a couple common mistakes and how to deal with them. One really common mistake is when you go to run a block of code, instead of just putting your cursor somewhere and hitting Command Return, you accidentally select some text. So now I'll hit Control Enter, and something happened. It says document there, but it didn't really execute that code. So I got no Xynthi running, I just got some text there, and it doesn't really make any sense. You really have to be careful to just have your cursor in a block of code. Don't change that block of code in any way, and then go ahead and hit Command Return or Control Enter on Windows. This could be even worse if I select, say, just this much code. and I go ahead and execute it, it's going to tell me that there are errors, and I might not know how to interpret all of this stuff, and I'm just going to freak out and give up. It's just because you don't want to select any of this stuff. Just have your cursor there and let it go. Mac users may also run into some trouble when they go to run this and they get window after window warning them about such and such.scx might not be trustworthy. This is the quarantine that Mac OS X imposes on certain files. And if we go back here where we did the Mac init, remember how at the end we got these 2 lines that we had to run in the terminal. These lines are the lines that are meant to stop that from happening. So make sure that you did run those and you ran them successfully. If you didn't, you can go through every one of those windows and use the dialog to allow Mac OS X to use it. But that is a tedious process, and we're trying to avoid that entirely here. If you find yourself with an error, and it's not one of these things that I just talked about, then it's really important to look in this post window and see what it says. Sometimes there'll be clues that you can actually understand, and you'll be able to solve the problem. Oh, I did this wrong. I need to do something a little bit differently, and it'll work fine. Sometimes, though, there may be a problem that is in the code that doesn't account for something very specific on your system. If that is the case, and you want to report that somewhere, say on GitHub or on scsynth.org to get some help, it's really important that you copy whatever error was reported in the post window, because none of us are magical or clairvoyant. We can't figure out what's going on if you just tell us it didn't work or I tried it and got an error. If you're going to report an error, report the entire error that the post window has output for you. Talk about what you tried to do, what led to the error, anything that you can provide detail-wise, and we will try to help you out. Hopefully, that doesn't happen, and you have just a fantastic experience with Xynthi.